What's up, good people? Thank you for clicking play on another episode of Big Man, Tiny Kingdom. I hope y'all living your best life. I know that's what I'm trying to do. I want to chat with y'all about a couple of first times for me. First time camping in Tucson, home of the University of Arizona Wildcats, and home to Catalina State Park, where I stayed for a couple days. Also spent some time at Voyager RV Resort, but I'm going to save talking about that location for a future episode. To go along with my first time camping in Tucson, it was also the first time that I rented an RV. I used a company called Cruise America, which has been around for a while, is well known, and I had a great experience with the rental process. It was such an enjoyable time camping that I can't wait until I get to do it again. Hopefully next time, it'll be in an RV that I own. Fingers crossed, I'll get to make that move in 2022. Tucson is an hour, 45 minutes south of Mesa, where I stay. It's an easy drive to get there for the most part. Only thing I don't like about driving on the I-10 is there are sections of the highway that are only one lane for long stretches. I ain't ashamed to admit it. I'm a slow driver. I stay within 10 miles per hour of the speed limit. With this being my first time on the road in an RV, I probably was even slower than my normal grandpa driving. I'm sure I always upset the people behind me, but in the end, all I care about is making it to my destination safe. Mission accomplished with my first stop in Tucson, Catalina State Park. 5,500 acres, home to some seriously beautiful landscape, cactus spread out all over. I would say those are probably the highlight of the park, along with the large variety of desert plants and wildlife. I found out from the ranger that there are more than 100 species of birds at the park. I got to see some type of hawk flying around my campsite, and there was also this little purple, bluish, red cardinal that was singing its butt off. I tried to get some pictures and videos of what I saw, but I really got to up my game on my outdoor camera gear to get some good footage of stuff like that. Using my iPhone and GoPro, I just can't really capture things from more than a few feet away with the clarity and quality that I want. Didn't get to observe much wildlife. I don't know why, but I got a major kick out of seeing all the prairie dogs. I was calling them Timon from The Lion King. Catalina State Park sits at the base of the Santa Catalina Mountains. There are miles of hiking trails, which I got to do a lot of walking around on this trip. Next time I plan to go, I will most definitely be bringing my bicycle. The trails and the paved roads make it really easy to ride around and explore the park. I would have to say a perfect place for a day trip, or in my case, spending a couple days and nights camping. I reserved campsite A27, $30 a night. It was a back-end site, which I love because the mountain was right smack in front of me. So peaceful to gaze upon. Imagine stepping out of your camper or tent and this beautiful piece of nature is the first thing you see. Makes it easy to smile, take some deep breaths, soak it all in. And for me, it's just those little things that keep me content with life, regardless of what stressors come my way. But I wouldn't have expected to see all this beautiful nature that I was surrounded by if I based it off of the entrance to the park. Before I made a left turn off the highway, I looked to my right and I saw a Walmart, a Best Buy, In-N-Out Burger, and Chase Bank. Despite the busy, everyday city life going on across the street, once I drove into the park, I couldn't tell any of it even existed. No traffic noise, no people noise, just the birds and prairie dogs providing the sound bites. Nothing too fancy to say about the RV site. It's a typical paved parking spot you'd expect to find at a campground. I would say long enough for the Big Daddy 50-footers and then some. Plenty if you're also rolling with a tow vehicle. Although just wide enough for the RV, not enough for much else on each side. Rest of the campground is dirt surface. No grassed area at mine or any of the sites around me. I did have some trees on both sides of me, providing a decent amount of shade. Oddly, the picnic table was in the rear, not close to the grill area or the trees, which I thought under the tree would be a good place for it to be so that you could sit somewhere not directly in the sun. Maybe the people that were there last moved it for whatever reason and it didn't get put back. Just seemed out of place for the table to be there by design. I fixed that though, dragged it right on over to where I wanted it to be. Ranger stopped by and chat with me for a bit and didn't say anything about where I was sitting, so I took that as it must have been okay to move. Catalina State Park was very well maintained. My campsite was 100% on point, zero complaints. I mentioned the picnic table and barbecue grill already, 30 and 50 amp power and water at the site, and lots of space between you and your camping neighbors. I don't mind the closeness at some parks, but I do appreciate having a site with some distance between them. Just makes it easier to spread out, and maybe if you got some games that you want to play, you got a little bit additional space for that. The nearby bathroom shower facilities were cleaner than some gyms, hotels, and people's houses that I've been to. Other than that, it's a typical bathroom, not much to talk about. However, I did have this debacle with two big-ass tarantulas hanging out at the bathroom. I want to take this moment to let you all know about Adams Applewood Design Company. They're a small Texas woodworking shop that specializes in customized woodwork for all gifts and occasions. Adams Applewood can create you some woodwork in a variety of designs, such as nameplates, home and office decor, awards and plaques, food trays and cutting boards, toy boxes. The list goes on. And for all you business owners out there, imagine how incredible it would be to have your very own company logo transposed into a large piece of wood to hang inside your store locations. Y'all should see how wonderful my Big Man Tiny Kingdom logo looks. I'm very impressed with the results, the extensive details in the lettering, and even how spot on the wood carved out the drawing of the cartoon on my face. I don't know what all it takes to do what they do to recreate the image on the wood, but the craftsmanship is absolutely remarkable. You have to check out Adams Applewood Design Company. Best woodwork money can buy. I promise you will not be disappointed. Find out more about them on their website, adamsapplewood.com, and be sure to let them know Big Man Tiny Kingdom sent you. When I camped at Lost Dutchman State Park, a wolf spider was at the top of the bathroom door. Now this time, there was a tarantula at the top wall near the bathroom door and another on the ground right in the way of the entrance. Supposedly, they're harmless to humans. You should see my face as I'm saying this. So I called myself trying to tiptoe around it. I guess I got too close and the damn thing jumped and looked like it was heading towards me. Guess what I did? I took off running the opposite direction. Fortunately, I didn't have to go that bad, and I always bring my portable toilet and bathroom tent with me. So to hell with the public bathrooms. Y'all spiders can have that. I think I'm going to attend some of the nature classes that the park rangers put together. I get the state park emails, and I see all the time about them having the nighttime scorpion hunts. I've also seen where they have on display rattlesnakes and spiders. Once there was a turkey vulture exhibit. And the rangers have those events as a way to educate people on what these species mean to our ecosystem. So I'm going to use it as an opportunity to find out more about the things that, I ain't gonna lie, scare me a little bit. Maybe if I understand their purposes, it might help me to be less nervous when I see them. I've never encountered anything that could possibly harm me, but being out in nature, it could eventually happen. And I don't know how I would react if, for example, I got too close to a rattlesnake, or heaven forbid, I was in the presence of a mountain lion. I always have my firearm with me when I'm camping, but I would like to know how to react so that I don't have to use my weapon. Plus, who's to say that I would be mentally sharp or have good aim or even enough time to defend myself if it came to that? Yet another first for me on this trip was using the RV dump station. I was expecting it to be an unpleasant chore. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about the black tank so that I could be ready for whatever would take place. And it actually wasn't nothing to it. The dump station area was very clean, no signs of number 2 drop-ins, which if I had to endure that, I would have known right then and there that I wasn't about this RV life. And I'm still not sure if I'm about it. When I do purchase my own rig, I'm seriously considering some alternatives to dispose of my waste, like the waterless flushing toilets or maybe composting. But the dump station was easy to access. There was plenty of moving around space for the larger RVs. I didn't even have any undesirables to empty from the tanks, just the gray water, which I actually paid Cruise America the fee for dumping the tanks for me. But I wanted to experience it for myself, did it with no problems, confident I'd be okay in the future. And since I emptied the tanks, I was able to get my $50 back when I returned it. Really enjoyed myself at Catalina State Park. Great place to spend my first RV camping trip. It rained a lot my first night there. I was already laying down by the time it started, but there was a water leak coming from the ceiling fan in the front area near the driver's cab. Woke up to a small puddle, but as hard as it was raining, I would have thought that a lot more water would have leaked in. Next day, I was speaking with the ranger who told me that they get a lot of flash flooding in Tucson, sometimes so much rain that they have to shut down the park. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with that on this visit. When I stepped out of the RV that morning, the sky was clear, the grounds were dry. There wasn't a sign that it had even rained at all. That's the desert for you. If you're in Arizona or plan on visiting, check out Tucson. I had a hell of a time there. You'll have to stay tuned for a future episode to find out what else I got myself into while I was in the area. I went to an RV resort and stayed a couple days there, and also explored the city. Had a great time. I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this episode, to my homie Cot. Thank you, Big Dog, for supporting the podcast. Much love, 7-1. We're coming up on the end of 2021, and I'm coming up on my first year of doing this podcast. For me, this is a hobby, and I enjoy doing it. Whether one person or a million people check it out, I'm going to keep doing my thing. And I already have some camping trips scheduled that, of course, I'll share with y'all my 2 cents about the parks I visit in the upcoming year's episode. Until next time, y'all keep it kosher. This is Big Man, Tiny Kingdom.